Welcome to the Personal Finance Podcast. We're diving into a topic that might make some people a little uneasy: debt. Do we always need to be afraid of it, or can we make it work for us?
Such a good question. There's definitely a lot of fear around debt, but it really all comes down to how it's used. We're going to uncover some surprising ways debt can be a tool for building wealth.
I like it. Okay, so let's say you're starting a business. Most people think you need a ton of cash up front,
Yeah.
like just to get the inventory right.
Okay.
But imagine if you could get your hands on that product without spending any of your own money up front.
It happens all the time, especially with importing and exporting. It's all about relationships and agreements. So a factory might be willing to essentially loan you products
Exactly.
based on, your reputation and the agreement you have. Then you sell them, you pay the factory back, and you keep the profit.
Wow. So you're using their money to make money.
Exactly. You're leveraging their capital to generate your own.
That's a game changer. Okay, now let's talk about real estate. It's expensive. How do people even get started?
This is where refinancing comes in. And I'm not just talking about getting a lower interest rate. It's about tapping into your property's value. Say you buy a place that needs some work, a fixer-upper. You put in the sweat equity or fixing it up yourself, and that increases the value. Then you refinance based on that new value, so you pay off the old loan.
Right.
But you could end up with cash left over for your next investment.
So you're basically making money using the bank's money. It sounds almost too good to be true. But it does make you think about the risk involved. And speaking of risk, what about those high-stakes investors, the hedge funds? How do they deal with debt?
Hedge funds use a strategy called shorting, basically betting against a company doing well. They borrow shares, sell them at the current price, and hope that price drops.
Got it.
If it goes down, they buy the shares back at the lower price, return them to whoever they borrowed from, and pocket the difference.
Wow, that's a whole other level. You really have to know what you're doing.
Absolutely. Not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of research and a high tolerance for risk. Big potential for reward, but also big potential for loss.
Speaking of high risk and high reward, what about Forex trading? I hear that's where things can get really interesting.
Forex is the foreign exchange market. It's all about currencies.
Yeah.
And it works on leverage.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be controlling, say, $100,000 worth of currency with only $1,000 of your own money.
Seriously.
It magnifies your profits, but it also magnifies your losses. That's why it can be so volatile.
So it seems like the more we talk about this, the more important it is to really, really understand debt no matter what you're doing.
You got it. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking for a loan or a real estate investor, even if you're just thinking about trying Forex, your credit score is crucial.
It's like your financial report card. A good score means you're trustworthy.
Exactly. And it translates to lower interest rates, better loan terms. That saves you money in the long run.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not about avoiding debt entirely, but about using it strategically.
Right. And going back to real estate for a sec, we talked about refinancing, but there's also the tax benefits, which a lot of people don't realize.
Wait, really? I've never thought about debt and taxes as being connected.
Oh, yeah. When you have a mortgage, you're paying interest to the lender, but you can often deduct those interest payments from your taxable income.
So you might actually lower your tax bill just by having a mortgage.
It can work that way, yeah. Tax laws are complicated, though, of course, and they're different everywhere, so definitely talk to a professional.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that smart use of debt can have these ripple effects. It benefits you in more ways than one.
I'm seeing that. This is way more nuanced than I thought. So for someone who's just, starting to think about their personal finances, what's the most important thing about debt? Where do you even begin?
Good question. I'd say it's understanding that there's good debt and there's bad debt.
Okay.
Good debt is an investment in your future.
So like a business loan to start a company.
Exactly. Or a mortgage because you expect the property value to go up. You're using debt to create more wealth.
Okay, got it.
Bad debt, on the other hand, is basically spending on things you don't need. That instant gratification.
Can you give me an example?
Think about credit card debt. You buy the latest phone or take that expensive vacation. Now you've got those high interest payments. And that debt's not working for you. It's holding you back.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's about being thoughtful, asking yourself if a purchase will help you reach your goals or if it's going to set you back. It's about thinking long term and not just about what feels good right now.
Exactly. Taking control and making your finances work for you.
This has been incredible. We covered so much: business, real estate, even hedge funds, and Forex trading. And then the basics of good debt versus bad debt and those tax advantages.
I feel like we just scratched the surface, though.
Yeah, we could talk about this all day. The main thing I want listeners to take away is that knowledge is power.
The more you know about this stuff, the smarter your decisions will be. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Do your research, talk to financial advisors if you need to. Everyone's different. What works for one person might not work for someone else.
It's about finding what works for you, for your own goals.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to question the usual advice. Just because everyone says it's the right way to handle money doesn't mean it's right for you. You have to think critically, see different perspectives, and make choices that feel right for you.
I love that. Be bold, be informed, and take control of your financial future. That's a great place to wrap up. Thank you so much for diving into the world of debt with us today. We hope you've learned that debt doesn't have to be scary. It can actually be a powerful tool to get you where you want to go.
It was my pleasure. And remember, knowledge is power. That journey to financial well-being starts with a single step.
Thanks for listening. For more tips and insights about personal finance, follow us and stay tuned for more episodes. See you next time.